Welcome. I want to chat just a little bit about some new developments. One big development, they're called Gabb phones. And some of you parents will already know about those because perhaps your girl has one of them in her possession. So we're doing them in a way, deploying them with kids that are getting towards the end of their treatment, and we want to add some possible responsibilities and a chance to contact more, text, and make phone calls. That's what these are about. We've only got a few of them deployed now, but more of them will come out in the coming months. So I want to let you know what to expect once your daughter hopefully gets a chance to have one of these. And at least half of the girls will have a chance to have these in their possession for at least a bit of time. Okay, the first thing you've got to realize is there's probably going to be a bit of an onslaught of excited communication. You know, it's just fun to have this new toy, and you might get a whole bunch of texts and little voice calls and stuff like that. Don't let that bother you. If it becomes too overwhelming, it's a good thing that you can set boundaries with your daughter about. But they'll start talking to you right away as soon as they get one. Okay, as kids are safe, they're going to be using these Gabb phones, and they're far enough along in treatment. If they're on a protocol, it's likely to interrupt then for a day or two while things maybe have kind of gone south, and we're just making sure that they're safe. You might not get communication for a day or two, and just assume that that's what's going on if it stops for just a little bit. Nothing to panic about. This is extra communication, and you shouldn't feel like, oh no, why am I not hearing from them for a little bit? That'll come out in the wash. I'm sure you'll find out about it from the therapist or your child in short order. Time allowances are restricted on the phones. So we don't give unlimited access, where they can talk or text for an hour or two a day. And so it will be a little bit limited, and we might increase or decrease depending on what kind of reaction we're getting and how much positive communication they're having. So be kind of ready for that. Initially, you're going to find that the only contacts that we have are parents, and that should be expected. If they're wanting to talk with other people, just shut that down, leave that in the hands of the treatment team and the therapist if you would. And we eventually will add then, siblings or an aunt or an uncle that's kind of special or things like that, but initially it will just be you parents. Okay, while these phones are actually watches and texting is pretty good, the texting is talk to text and will go out to you in that way, but inbound texts are just fine. Whatever you type will be what you expect to see. There might be mistakes in the text as they come to you, and don't let that be alarming in any way. One thing you might notice that there's a little bit of background noise. These don't have the ability to filter that ambient background noise out, and as I'm sure you're aware, the homes are noisy. I mean, we've got as few as 9 or 10, but sometimes 12 to 14 girls in a home, and even when they're happy, they can be quite noisy. So if you're hearing a lot of background noise, try and have your daughter go to some place where it's a little bit quieter, but it's just going to be part of the deal, and don't let it be irritating. This is really just a tool to give some increased responsibility and ability to connect with you. So, we don't want it to be a distraction for you. The other thing is that, Jessie is really heading this up, and we're learning as we go. It's a really fun new item that we've added to the program. If there's an issue, something that's worrying you or that you'd like to see addressed relative to the phones, she's going to be your point of contact for the Gabb phones. We're excited to add them. Glad for those of you who have already gotten to have phone calls and texts through them. Thanks a bunch.